Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to talk about shellfish farming. We're breaking down the whole process, from A to Z, turning what looks like a super complex business into something you can actually start thinking about for your next big move.
So let's just chew on this for a second. A business that actually heals the planet while you're making money. It sounds almost too good to be true, right? Well, that's exactly what we're talking about with shellfish farming. It's this amazing, kind of unique opportunity for anyone who wants to do well by doing good.
All right, first things first. Let's get into why this is such a big deal. I mean, this isn't your average farming gig. It's a completely different kind of concept with some really powerful perks that you just don't see anywhere else in the food business.
Okay, look at this. This really hits the nail on the head. Think about it. With a lot of fish farming, you're constantly worried about feed, waste, and what that does to the water. But with shellfish, it's the complete opposite. They are literally the janitors of the sea. They clean the water by eating the algae that's already there. You don't add feed, you don't add chemicals, you just let them do their thing and the environment actually gets better.
So yeah, it really boils down to this triple win. First, you've got the environmental boost. I mean, get this. One single oyster can filter something like 50 gallons of water a day. That's insane. You're basically running a water purification plant that also happens to grow food. Then there's the money. People are hungry for sustainable seafood, so the demand is there. And finally, your costs are super low. Why? Because you don't have to buy food for your livestock. Mother Nature handles the catering.
All right, so maybe you're thinking, okay, I'm in. This sounds awesome. But where do you even start? Well, that brings us to your first couple of really big decisions, picking your shellfish champions and finding the perfect spot for them to live.
This chart lays it all out pretty clearly. Honestly, if you're just getting your feet wet, oysters and mussels are your best friends. Oysters are tough little guys, really resilient. And mussels, they grow super fast on ropes, which is a pretty straightforward method. Clams are great too, especially if you have access to some sandy flats. Scallops, well, they can make you some serious cash, but they're definitely the divas of the group, a lot more demanding.
Now, finding the right location. This is huge. You absolutely cannot mess this part up. Let's run through this checklist because every single point matters. First, water quality. It's gotta be clean, period. Remember, these guys are filters, so they are what they eat and what they swim in. Next, you have to nail the salinity and temperature for whatever you're growing. And last, but definitely not least, the paperwork. You've got to talk to your local authorities and get all your permits lined up before you do anything else. Seriously, don't skip this step.
Okay, so you've got your what and your where. Now let's get into the how. We're going to lay out the blueprint, step by step, to take you from just an idea to a fully operational farm.
Think of this as your roadmap to launch. It all kicks off with doing your homework, research, planning, the whole 9 yards. Then you'll tackle the permits, get your site prepped, and buy your baby shellfish, which are called seed. After that, it's all about keeping an eye on things, maintaining the farm, and then, the best part, the harvest. So when you're setting things up, you basically have two main choices. You can go with bottom culture, which is pretty much what it sounds like, growing the shellfish right on the seabed. It's the old school way. Or you can do off-bottom culture, where they grow in bags or cages floating in the water. A lot of people go for this second one, and for good reason. It's way better for keeping predators away, and often means your shellfish grow faster and are way easier to collect when it's harvest time.
Okay, hang on. This is super important, especially if you're new to this. Where you get your seed, your baby shellfish, is one of the single biggest decisions you'll make. Don't cheap out here. Go to a certified hatchery. It's like insurance. It gives your farm a healthy start and can save you from a catastrophic disease wiping out your whole crop later on.
Look, every business has its headaches, right? Shellfish farming is no different. But the great thing here is that the problems are usually pretty predictable. And for every problem, there's a solution you can have ready in your back pocket.
Challenge number 1. You're running a restaurant, and everybody's invited. And by everybody, I mean starfish, crabs, and some seabirds who think you've set up a free 24/7 oyster bar just for them.
So how do you stop them? Well, your best defense is a good fence. And this is where that off-bottom farming method we talked about is a real hero. Those bags and nets, they're not just for holding shellfish, they're like little personal bodyguards, creating a physical barrier that keeps the bad guys out. Another big one is the water itself. Your shellfish are really sensitive. Things like pollution, diseases, or a sudden algae bloom can be absolutely devastating. We're talking it could wipe out your entire farm if you're not on top of it. And that's why you have to be a hawk about monitoring your water. Constant testing is key. It's your early warning system.
That, plus starting with that healthy, disease-free seed from a good hatchery, that's the 1-2 punch for keeping your farm healthy and thriving.
All right, let's get to the good part. You've done the hard work, you've raised some beautiful shellfish. Now, how do you turn that into cold, hard cash?
Harvesting is more than just yanking stuff out of the water. There's a real art to it. It's all about timing. You need to know that perfect moment when they've reached the right size to get the best price and deliver the best taste. A little too early or a little too late can make a big difference.
And once they're out of the water, you've got options. You can go direct to chef. Restaurants love to tell the story of a local, sustainable farm. You could sell at farmers markets or local seafood shops. Or if you're growing a lot, you can work with wholesalers for that steady, reliable income. You've got a lot of ways to play it.
So when you step back and look at it all, this is way more than just a guide to starting a business, isn't it? It's a blueprint for a different way of thinking about food, one where growing what we eat can actually make the planet healthier. It's a pretty powerful idea. And really, the only question left is, what role do you want to play in that future?
Want to raise healthy, profitable shellfish without beginner mistakes? Get How to Raise Shellfish by Gerard, your step-by-step guide to successful shellfish farming. Link below.